Hello, my fellow Russian voters. How are you doing today? We have a bit of news here, trying to play catch up, from Breitbart.com, entitled Kristen Gillibrand blames gender bias, oh no, for low polling ahead of 2020. If she thinks the low polling has to do with gender, it tells you where they are right out of the gate. Senator Kristen Gillibrand, Democrat, New York, claimed she is being underestimated in the race for the 2020 Democratic nomination for president and blamed gender bias. Oh, let's blame the voters. The voters are all sexist. Oh. For the many problems she faces, such as low polling. Yeah, that might be a problem if you're aiming for the presidency. That might be a problem. For peace sake, nobody even has a bigger name than Trump. Every other candidate is essentially a no-name compared to Trump. So, they might want to give this some thought. Instead of throwing out these labels at voters who don't agree with their policy, maybe they should put forth good policy. Maybe that would work, instead of spewing racist, sexist, phobic, intolerant, this and that. Maybe that would be a better strategy. Put forth something beneficial for the country. In a CNN profile which highlights how she is campaigning by living her best life, not at the polls, Gillibrand let out a hearty yeah when asked whether she believed people were underestimating her efforts in the race. I think it's just gender bias. I think people are generally biased against women. I think also biased against young women, Gillibrand said. There's just bias, and it's real and it exists, but you have to overcome it. Did they poll anyone on that? Where are they getting that from? Gillibrand also stated that voters will give a woman a shot and insisted that the opportunity is needed. No, thank you. We'll stick with Trumpy. We'll stick with Trumpy. We'll stick with the Trump card. This low polling, it probably has nothing to do with them wanting to infringe upon rights, disarm Americans, and have China invade, steamroll us. Probably has nothing to do with that. This low polling probably has nothing to do with infanticide. Democrats' new push. Who knows if she's for that specific, but probably has nothing to do with that. What else is there? Open borders. Probably has nothing to do with their side wanting open borders, infinite invasion to flood our country, and for us to pay for a foreign invasion of ourselves and replacement. Probably has nothing to do with that. Probably has nothing to do with that. Gillibrand, who is currently polling at less than 1% in a field of more than 24 Democrats, also said she knows she will beat Trump in 2020 because he does not take her seriously. Maybe there's reasons to not take her seriously. And if she thinks this is really the case, then, she could just say she's a dude, or she could transition. Then maybe she'd poll higher. Has she thought of that? If she did poll higher, that might indicate some problems, both candidate-wise and voter-wise. Generally, the better candidate would be male, better leaders, more balanced minded. In history, men are always the leaders. But there's other components that make a good candidate, rather than merely different specifics about a candidate that they can't change. You want to look at their policy. What values are they sticking to? What policies do they have? And it would seem these folks have no chance, no shot at 2020. They've handed Trump the win by their lunacy. They've wasted years, and they're just putting forth destructive policy. That ain't gonna get you the vote from Americans. So, I find these folks whacked out. If she thinks gender's the problem, she's got it wrong from the get-go. My goodness. It's all their stances and policies and agendas. So, let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more. I'll see you up ahead. And feel free to subscribe. And stay voting Russia, my friends.